What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? I figured it would just be, a nice, easy, fun week. Things changed up. Now I got a free weekend, so I'm really excited. We got some football. Man, throw some bets in. We got baseball. Throw some more bets in. It's about to get live. Plus, tomorrow you get my Heat-tastic bets of the day. Oh, yeah. You want to hit some home runs? I do. My home run guy got sat last week and then tried to come in at the end of the game. We don't play that, buddy. You out, son. We done with you. Anyway, let's get back to it. If you didn't look at the name of the podcast today is going to be wide receiver versus running back. Now, I'm not going to keep your time because I know that every other host has went over this. Here's my problem with every other host. They literally, I'm not going to be like host, expert, everything. They literally all say wide receivers what you need. Like, I get it. Like, I can't see what they see sometimes, right? Oh, what I can see what they see. So let's get to it. I grabbed three players, good players, and I went around the same kind of a game atmosphere to kind of show you one, you always have to make sure you pay attention to your league settings. And two, that sometimes things are a little more valuable than other things. I think we all forget that. We're all enamored by these wide receivers. Yay, buddy. That's great. But after doing a few mock drafts with the Get Right crew and doing other mock drafts and seeing where it goes and seeing the gradings going on, and of course, listening to everybody, I'm going to be the one that's about to bring the pain to the whole industry right now. Yeah. All right. So let's start out. Jonathan Taylor, week 9 against the Carolina Panthers, went 18 for 47 rushing yards, and he had 5 catches of 5 receptions for 22 yards and a touchdown. Total yards, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. Total overall, if you want to let's count the just receptions with it. We had 23 catches, right? Or 23 things, because we had the 5 receptions with the 18 rushes. That gives us the 23. Is everybody got that? All right. So that's 23 times Jonathan Taylor touched that ball. Yet he only managed 19 points because of a certain thing about some leagues and not all leagues. And this is why I'm trying to make this point, and I'm going to make another point by the end of this podcast, and you will see why. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, yeah. Right? 19 targets. That means he's getting 19 opportunities. He turned that into 13 catches. This is against Baltimore, week 7. He had 102 yards, and he hit the 100-yard bonus multiplier. Yes, my league bonuses, actually both of my high stakes cash leagues, hometown leagues, bonus 3 points for 100 yards. That makes a wide receiver so much more intriguing, and it makes them more valuable. Of course it does. And yes, in this league, you have to start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. So move along. Garrett Wilson. Now we're going to go week 16 against Washington. 15 targets, 9 catches, 76 yards, 11.5. All right. But a few weeks prior, week 14 against Houston, he actually had 18.8 points. And that's because he went over 100 yards and got the 3-point multiplier. So let's add this together. 23 for Taylor, 19 points. We got 13 for Amon-Ra St. Brown, 19.7. We got 9 catches, pretty much, 11.5. That's over a point, right? Per catch, practically. But if we go to the week 14, when I think he was 10 for 4 and all that other stuff, he got 18.8. So if you see the around there, if you're getting around 13 to 23 for a running back, at 13 to 15 as a receiver, you're going to have about 20 points. Now, this is the point. This fact was made to me by a certain person, Rasta. I'll call you out. He told me that when he brought up the Amon-Ra and said that, he's getting like 1.7 what he used, but I'm going to go off of this game. So I do see that Amon-Ra is getting more than a point per catch. So that practically says every time he touches the ball, he's going to make more than a point for you. And he's such a focal point of the offense. This is why wide receivers do it. I'm not arguing that fact. I totally agree. I use this game for Jonathan Taylor for a reason. Also, Jonathan Taylor had over 30 points in one game and didn't play really. He was slow when he came back. And then by the time he hit his stride, he still produced for you. But at the same time, Amon-Ra was practically there the entire year, putting up points for you. So he was consistent. He wasn't gone, coming back and doing all this stuff. So that being said, Garrett Wilson was also there too. But at the same time, Garrett's over a point. They're over a point. But unfortunately, Jonathan Taylor, and this was Rosta's point, was, under a point because he didn't get that. He got more touches. But here's the thing. And Rosta makes a great point, and I totally respect everything. And I was like, man, I love receivers, but that's the way the whole industry goes. I don't go the way the industry goes. I am not that guy. The guy I am is heat override. I am contrarian. I bring the pain. And when I say that running backs are more valuable than wide receivers, I mean that for a reason. This was a half-point PPR league. So yes, that these points would have been a lot more if given the full point. Again, Taylor did have 5 catches as well, too. The problem is that he just didn't get over that 100 yards, even though he had that touchdown. It really didn't equate to anything, but he still scored some points. The point I'm trying to make is that you have to go running back early. And the reason why, and I'm not saying first overall pick, but maybe you do, because you are more likely to be able to pair Bijan Robinson with Jonathan Taylor or Bijan Robinson with a Garrett Wilson, or more likely Jonathan Taylor with a Garrett Wilson, which then you have 2 very solid wide receivers. But at that point of the draft, you would be looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown. And when I talk about destroying and taking over leagues and their drafts and just totally blowing the whole draft up, you take Amon-Ra St. Brown there. Now Taylor goes later. Now Wilson goes sooner. So most likely Taylor and Wilson will end up on the same team when you had a chance to make something go, right? But you're not going to get Bijan Robinson and Garrett Wilson unless you're playing a linear league and maybe a 10-team league or a 12-team league. Then you might have a chance to do that. However, the point I'm making right now is wide receiver is valuable and it is the new running back. But the problem is there's not enough running backs to actually start. And you go, well, we know this heat. We already know what you're talking about, heat. But do you? Because the thing is, there's a big difference between Bijan Robinson and Austin Eckler. And I don't care about Austin Eckler a couple of years ago. I don't care. Again, Washington traded away Dotson again. It just shows that they're not surrounding Daniels with anybody but running backs. That's disaster. That's disaster. I don't care how good McLaurin is. All right. Now he's got Dyami Brown, which I like Dyami Brown. All right. He scored points for me last year. But here's the point. Did I just say Dyami Brown? Did I just say Terry McLaurin? Yeah, you could get those wide receivers late, right? But if you go for a running back at that stage, you're looking at Jaylen Warren, who just got dinged up. You're looking at people like Zach Charbonnet, who is a backup. You're looking at other running backs that aren't good. We're talking about Gus Edwards. Yo, I know Gus Edwards can have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I didn't never really see him do that often, okay? What are you giving yourselves, man? You guys got to stop kidding yourselves. Seriously. Wake up. Wide receiver's great. It's great to have Garrett Wilson, but it ain't good to pair him with Devin Singletary either. I would rather have Bijan Robinson and Devontae Adams than have Garrett Wilson and who else? Devin Singletary. Rachaad White. Like, I don't even care. Rachaad was good last year. He may not be good this year. And that's what people are chasing points. You have to remember, you can't put your eggs in one basket and say someone's going to get dinged up and you're going to go bounce on him. The point I'm trying to make is there's a big difference between a first and a second round running back as a fifth and a sixth round running back. When you can get a player like Courtland Sutton in the 9th or 10th round, and he can outproduce a wide receiver one taken in the first or second round, you don't gotta wait. I would rather deal with the ups and downs struggles of a Breece Hall, a Bijan Robinson, a Jonathan Taylor, a Derrick Henry, than have to deal with a bad game or a bad time with Devin Singletary. It's not going to work out for you. I'm telling you. If you're banking on late running backs or hoping somebody else's running back gets hurt, you've already lost your league. The point remains, and I don't want to say best player available, but when you pass up the best player available for somebody that's nice and shiny, sometimes you lose the race. I prove this every single year by winning leagues and being in the top teams at the leagues. And everybody goes, well, yeah, dude, we do that. We do that. And how do you repeat as a champion? How do you stay competitive when you're picking 14, 13, 14, 12, 4 years in a row? By the time it gets to you, there's nobody left. You have nobody. So that is why my team construction of like James Conner, my first round pick, was Devontae Adams, because I wasn't going to pick for another 28 pick or another 14 picks. When people do linear drafts, I think sometimes people get too enamored with the snake draft. And there's my clue. There's my hit. All of you rely on snake drafts. The shit you pull up, sorry about that French, the shit you do when you do it in a snake draft, you cannot do in a linear draft. I don't care who you are. You got to be like me. You got to pull a Rashid Rice and a Zay Flowers out late. You have to be able to pull and wait for a Sam Laporta out late. You have to be willing to take and throw it and say with your chest, you're going to draft rookies and you're not going to miss, because you can't miss, because you pick too late. And when you pick at the end of the drafts, you could do every draft in the entire world. You will never, and especially in a redraft keeper league, you will never sniff a top receiver at the end of any 14 or 16 man drafts. That's my point. You don't need it. You're going to have to go running back. So don't train your mind to go a weak ass second wide receiver. You need to put your money where your mouth is, bring the pen, and pick that running back. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. And always remember, the running backs are with you. Trust me? Don't trust me. But I'm going to guarantee this. Watch my leagues. I will show you how many running backs I pick, and I'll show you every year how I pass and how I place, and it will show you don't need a wide receiver. You could just pick up a fifth or a sixth, and they'll produce like a first and a second. It's simple sauce, but I put up with that headache before the other headache. Yeah, have a great one, y'all. Do it again.